I've lived in this house for 31 years and my parents never told me what these were. There are 4 of them in total. One in the hallway, one in the master bedroom, one in the basement, and another outside by the storm door. They look like an intercom system, but I've never seen them work. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a classic hardwired home intercom system. These were common in mid-century homes before wireless technology became available. The system operates on a simple point-to-point electrical circuit. When you press the talk button on one station, it dedicates that unit's microphone to the circuit, broadcasting your voice through the speakers on all the other connected units. Releasing the button switches it back to a listening mode. It doesn't require batteries, as it draws a small amount of low-voltage power directly from the home's wiring. I found this in my drawer, and I've completely forgotten what it's for. I'm pretty sure it came in a package as an accessory for another main object I purchased. It's small, almost like a tiny flashlight. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a demonstration tool included with blue light-blocking glasses. This device is a small torch that emits a specific wavelength of blue light. It comes with a companion test card. The demonstration works in 2 steps. First, you shine the light directly onto the card, which causes a section of the card to change color. Next, you place the lens of the glasses between the light and the card. If the lens successfully blocks the blue light, the card will not change color, providing instant visual proof that the product's filtering claim is accurate. A few years ago, I found this staff broken on the side of the road. I thought it was cool, so I took it home and repaired it. It's been a decoration in my room ever since, but I've never known if it was just art or something more. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a decorative walking stick, featuring a prominent ankh at the top. These are often handmade in Kenya, from native wood for the tourist and export market. The ankh itself is one of the most recognizable symbols from ancient Egypt. It's a hieroglyph that represented the concept of life. While it is shaped like a walking cane, this item isn't designed for physical support. Instead, it's an ornamental piece that combines African craftsmanship with ancient Egyptian iconography. I had been gone for nearly a week, and when I returned home, my husband showed me these strange objects. He described them as looking like fake nails with a bump on the end, but made of copper. After he put away the Christmas decorations, a few more of these would appear on the living room floor every day. We couldn't figure out if they were from a decoration or maybe the ceiling fan. Does anyone know what it is? What you found are the copper electrical contacts from a string of Christmas lights. Inside each socket of an incandescent light string, there are 2 of these small copper plates. They are designed to press against the base of the light bulb, one on the side and one on the tip, which completes the electrical circuit and allows the bulb to light up. These contacts are often just held in place by friction. When you pull out the bulbs for storage, especially from older sets, these tiny pieces can easily come loose and fall to the floor, leading to the mystery of them appearing out of nowhere days later. I received this in the mail earlier today from a company I don't recognize. I have an idea of what this is, but I'd like to be sure before I do anything with it. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a silicone butt plug, a type of sex toy. Its design incorporates several key safety and functional features. The tapered tip is designed for ease of insertion, while the flared base is a critical safety measure to prevent it from becoming lost inside the body. The nubs or ribs are for sensory stimulation. Receiving an unsolicited package like this is often an indicator of a brushing scam, where third-party sellers send inexpensive items to random addresses. This allows them to generate fake tracking numbers and post fraudulent positive reviews for their products, artificially boosting their store's ratings. I found this a while back in my grandmother's attic. I don't know what it is, but it's from the company Games Workshop. It looks like some kind of protective case, and I'm trying to figure out if it's worth keeping. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a miniature carry case for the tabletop war game, Warhammer. The British company Games Workshop, founded in 1975, created a hobby where players assemble and hand-paint detailed figures. To protect this investment of time and money, these specialized cases with foam inserts were designed to transport entire armies to games without damage. While modern versions are common, older cases are often sought by collectors as a piece of the game's history. I found this in my yard in North Florida, under some pine trees and camellias. It's about 6 inches long and feels surprisingly heavy, almost like stone or plaster. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a piece of bone that has been heavily chewed by rodents. Animals like squirrels, porcupines, and rats have incisor teeth that never stop growing. To keep them filed down, they gnaw on hard objects, and bones are a perfect target because they also provide essential minerals like calcium. The heavy, stone-like feeling comes from the bone drying out and the porous, gnawed surfaces collecting dirt and grit over time. Unfortunately, the damage is so extensive that it is likely impossible to identify what animal the bone originally came from. I picked up some new computer glasses and found this lens cloth inside. It feels much softer and more effective than a piece of cotton. I'm curious what this is actually made of. Does anyone know what it is? This cloth is made from polyethylene terephthalate. You likely know it better by its abbreviation, PET, the very same plastic used to make most water and soda bottles. When this plastic is melted and extruded into extremely fine threads, it becomes the fabric we know as polyester or microfiber. These tiny fibers create a huge surface area and possess a natural electrostatic charge. This allows the cloth to attract and trap microscopic dust particles and absorb oils from fingerprints, lifting them off the surface instead of just smearing them. It's this mechanism that allows it to clean delicate lens coatings so effectively without causing scratches. This small knife belonged to my grandfather who passed away before I got to meet him. I know what it is, but I'm curious why someone would carry something this small and why it's attached to a chain. Does anyone know what it is for? This object is known as a fob knife, an accessory for a pocket watch. The watch would be clipped to the other end of the chain and kept in one vest pocket, while the knife would go into the opposite pocket. This served two purposes. It acted as a counterbalance to the watch and provided a practical, everyday tool. Instead of a purely decorative fob, many men preferred this small knife for tasks like cleaning fingernails, cutting bricks of chewing tobacco, or opening letters. It was a very common and useful tool for men in the early to mid-20th century. I ordered a couple of small things from a 3D printing company, and this blue object came as a freebie. It's plastic, and as you can see from the playing card used for scale, it's quite small. I don't think it has anything to do with the items I ordered. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a 3D printer nozzle wrench. The metal nozzles on a printer's hot end need to be replaced periodically as they wear out. Because the hot end reaches extremely high temperatures, using a standard metal wrench is difficult. They are often too clunky to grip the tiny nozzle, and the metal conducts heat, which can lead to burnt fingers. This plastic tool is specifically designed to grip the nozzle securely, allowing for quick and safe replacement without touching hot components. I was eating a fruit roll-up and noticed these designs stamped on it. I can identify a sun, a diamond, and a microphone, but I can't figure out the fourth object. Does anyone know what it is? This is part of a promotional tie-in for the animated movie Sing 2, released in 2021. General Mills, the parent company for fruit roll-ups, partnered with the film studio Illumination to create these character-themed snacks. Each icon represents a main character. The sun is for Rosita the pig, the diamond represents Mina the elephant, and the microphone is for Johnny the gorilla. The fourth symbol is a pair of sunglasses, which represent the character Clay Calloway, a reclusive lion and rock star. I saw this at a Goodwill store. It's a wooden box, possibly handmade, with several vertical channels cut into it. There are openings at the bottom of each channel. I can't figure out what it's supposed to hold or do. Does anyone know what it is? It's a wall-mounted battery dispenser, likely a project made in a high school woodworking or design technology class. The mechanism is simple and relies on gravity. Each vertical slot is designed to hold a specific battery size, such as AA, AAA, or C batteries. You load a stack of batteries in from the top, and they neatly slide down. When you need a battery, you pull the bottom one out from the dispenser slot, and the next one in the stack slides down to take its place. I need to fix my partner's computer, and I think I've found the broken component, but I don't know what it's called to buy a replacement. It's the small port where the power adapter plugs into the laptop frame. Does anyone know what it is? It's a DC power connector, also commonly known as a DC power jack. This is the component that transfers direct current from the external power adapter to the computer's motherboard. Because this port is subjected to constant mechanical stress from plugging and unplugging the power cord, it is a very common point of failure. To make repairs more cost-effective, many manufacturers design the jack as a separate, replaceable module attached by a small cable, rather than soldering it directly onto the mainboard. This allows for the replacement of just the broken jack instead of the entire, much more expensive, motherboard. I recently bought a new toothbrush, and this small butterfly-shaped plastic piece came in the package. I've seen similar objects included before, but never one shaped like this. It slides onto the handle, but its purpose isn't obvious. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a simple but clever toothbrush rest. You slide the butterfly up the handle to just below the brush head, and its wings act as a stand. This props the head up, keeping the bristles from touching the countertop. It's a hygienic solution designed to prevent the brush from coming into contact with surfaces that may carry bacteria, especially useful when traveling or in a shared bathroom. I have a shovel here with a patent date of May 30th, 1911. It features a strange mechanism, a small trap door in the blade which opens when you pull a ring lever. The handle is hollow and feeds directly to this opening. The purpose wasn't immediately obvious. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a magazine shovel, specifically the one described in U.S. Patent Number 993,668. It was granted in 1911 to inventor Frederick Erickson of Lindsborg, Kansas. Its purpose was to carry a quantity of material inside its hollow handle and release it into the shovel blade on demand. The patent filing highlights a specific use for burial ceremonies. It was designed to carry dry sand or fine earth, keeping the material protected from damp weather, allowing the operator to cleanly deposit it during a service without soiling their hands or gloves. I found these small clips in the back of my pantry. I assume they're designed to hold a straw for a reusable cup, but I can't figure out their intended purpose. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a dishwasher small item clip. These clips are designed to snap directly onto the vertical tines of a dishwasher's top rack. Their function is to securely hold lightweight items that would otherwise be thrown around by the force of the water jets during a wash cycle. This includes things like reusable straws, small plastic lids, and baby bottle components, ensuring they are cleaned properly without falling to the bottom of the machine, where they could interfere with the spray arm or melt on the heating element. Most of us know the small pocket on jeans was originally for a pocket watch. But I found a different kind of pocket on my hiking pants. It's a smaller, longer pocket located on the outside of the main zippered pocket, but only on the right side. I thought maybe it was for a small flashlight. Does anyone know what it is? This is a feature commonly known as a knife pocket or a utility pocket. Unlike the main pockets designed for bulkier items like a wallet or phone, this narrow pocket is purpose-built. Its primary function is to securely hold a folding knife by its clip, keeping it upright and ready for quick, one-handed access. The placement on the outside of the main pocket prevents the knife from scratching other items and eliminates the need to dig around for it. While designed with knives in mind, its shape is also perfect for holding other long, thin tools like pens, a multi-tool, or a pen light. I saw this outside of a building in Oxford, England. It's a small piece of iron set into the stonework near the door. I thought it might be a place to set a lantern, or maybe some kind of gutter. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a boot scraper. Before streets were widely paved in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, roads were often unpaved and covered in mud, dirt, and horse manure. To prevent tracking this mess inside, homeowners installed these simple but effective devices right by the entrance. Visitors would use the iron blade to clean the soles and sides of their boots before stepping inside. As cities modernized and paved their streets, boot scrapers became largely obsolete, but many historical buildings retain them as a detail from a past era. I was on a cruise halfway between Fort Lauderdale and the Southern Caribbean, and saw these large patches of brown stuff floating on the ocean's surface. It seemed to stretch on for miles. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a large floating mat of sargassum seaweed. Unlike most seaweeds, sargassum is holopelagic, meaning it never attaches to the seafloor and completes its entire life cycle while floating. Propelled by ocean currents, these mats form a unique and critical habitat, sometimes called a golden floating rainforest. They provide shelter and a food source for over 100 species of fish, as well as sea turtles, crabs, and shrimp. This concentration of life is why fishermen actively seek out these sargassum lines, as they are known hotspots for larger game fish like mahi-mahi and tuna that hunt there. I found this metal object in a park by the Mississippi River in Minnesota. It's mostly submerged in the ground, and when I shake it, it sounds like there's a piece of metal attached to the interior that rattles. Does anyone know what it's for? What you found is an old water well pump, likely from a house or farmstead that stood on the land before it was converted into a park. The rattling you hear is almost certainly the sucker rod. This long metal rod connected the pump handle, which is now missing, to a piston deep underground inside the well casing. Pumping the handle would move this piston up and down. The upstroke created a vacuum, drawing groundwater up into the pump cylinder through a check valve. The downstroke would then force that water up the pipe and out of the spout. While the original home is gone, the well remains as a marker of the property's past. I found this metal piece while metal detecting in the countryside. It was lying just under the surface. It's surprisingly lightweight, has no rust, and is marked with several numbers and codes. Does anyone know what it is? This object is a headlight bulb holder, also known as a retainer clip from a car. This small metal part serves a critical function. It holds the headlight bulb securely in place within the main housing. The spring-like arms apply pressure to the base of the bulb, ensuring the filament is perfectly positioned relative to the reflector. This precise alignment is what creates a focused and legal beam pattern. It's made of stainless or coated steel to resist heat and corrosion, which is why it survived in the ground without rusting. These are often lost during roadside bulb changes. While moving some boxes in my grandma's garage, I found this old empty bottle. The only branding is from a company called the Wilson Laboratories, and there are some numbers on the bottom, but I couldn't find anything about it online. Does anyone know what it is? This object is a bottle of glandular extract from the Wilson Laboratories, a Chicago-based company prominent in the early 20th century. This company specialized in a practice known as organotherapy, which involved using animal organ extracts to treat human ailments. This specific product was marketed as a tonic for what was then termed male weakness or sexual neurasthenia. It was, in essence, an attempt to restore vigor using bovine organ extracts. This field of medicine fell out of favor as modern pharmacology developed and proved such treatments were ineffective. I was helping my sister clean out the basement of her new house when we found this heavy, sealed military crate. We were concerned it might contain old explosives, so we called the bomb squad to be safe. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is not a bomb, but a crate full of ammunition. Specifically, it's 7.62 by 39mm steel-cased ammunition. This particular cartridge was developed by the Soviet Union in 1943 for use in the SKS and AK-47 pattern rifles. The markings indicate that this crate is likely of Chinese origin, a country that produced this ammunition in massive quantities during the Cold War. The steel casings, instead of the more common brass, were used to lower production costs. These sealed tins, often called spam cans by collectors, were designed to keep the ammunition preserved and waterproof for decades of storage. I found these while clearing out an overgrown section of a yard. They feel like thin latex, with hard plastic rings at the bottom of each half, and they're about the size of a tennis ball. The previous homeowners had a kid and a pool, so my first guess was a dog or pool toy. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a set of reusable water balloons. These are a modern alternative to traditional single-use latex balloons, designed to reduce waste. Each sphere is made of two soft silicone halves lined with small magnets. To fill one, you simply open it and submerge it in water. The magnetic rings quickly snap the halves together, sealing the water inside. On impact, the force is just enough to break the magnetic seal, releasing the water like a normal balloon, but without leaving any rubber fragments behind. I found this on the floor of a repair shop. It's made of a hard black plastic, about 5 inches long, with a hexagonal socket on one end and a T-shaped handle on the other. It doesn't seem to have any branding on it. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a torque tool, specifically for installing a vehicle roof rack from manufacturers like Thule or Yakima. The hexagonal end fits onto the bolts that clamp the rack's towers to the car's roof. Its most important feature is the built-in torque limiter. As you turn the handle to tighten the bolt, the mechanism inside measures the force. Once it reaches the precise tightness specified by the manufacturer, the handle will produce an audible click and slip, preventing any further tightening. This is a critical safety feature that ensures the rack is secure without over-tightening and damaging the vehicle's roof. This small light was found loose at the bottom of an Amazon envelope. I think it must have fallen in by the person packing the order. It's blue, the light is also blue, and it has a small ring to attach to a keychain. I know it's a light, but I'm wondering about its specific use in a warehouse context. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a keychain ultraviolet light, often shortened to a UV light. The blue-violet light it emits is on the ultraviolet spectrum, which causes certain materials with phosphors to fluoresce or glow. Its most common application is counterfeit currency detection. Many countries, including the United States, embed security threads or fibers into their banknotes that are invisible in normal light but glow brightly under a UV source. This allows for a quick and simple way to verify the authenticity of cash. It is also used to check security features on identification cards or official documents. I found this key and have no idea what it's for. It's a shiny Y-shaped piece of metal with a plastic handle that simply says, "Key." Next to an SD card, you can see it's quite small. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a brake piston rewind key, and it's a specific component from a larger automotive toolset. Its function is to retract the piston inside a vehicle's disc brake caliper during a brake pad replacement. On many modern cars, especially those with rear disc brakes, the piston cannot simply be pushed back in. It must be rotated and pushed at the same time. The two small prongs on the end of this key engage with notches on the face of the piston, allowing a mechanic to apply the required rotational force to screw it back into the caliper housing, making space for the new, thicker brake pads. This small plastic piece fell out from the light fixture inside my refrigerator. It's clear and seems to have a specific shape, but I'm not sure if it's a critical component. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a heat shield for the refrigerator's light bulb. For decades, refrigerators used small incandescent bulbs, which produced a significant amount of heat. This shield acts as a thermal barrier, preventing the direct heat from the bulb from melting, warping, or discoloring the refrigerator's interior plastic liner. It also protects any food items that might be placed too close to the light. While many modern refrigerators now use cooler-running LED lights, this shield is an essential safety component in any model that still uses a traditional incandescent bulb. We got a few of these at a food giveaway. It's a cone-shaped container with a foil lid. I ate one, and it was a fruity, gel-like substance, but I don't recognize the brand. Does anyone know what it is? This is a classic Jell-O gelatin snack. The Jell-O brand itself was trademarked way back in 1897. But these ready-to-eat single-serving cups were introduced much later as a convenient alternative to the powdered mix. The cone shape is a specific packaging style used by the parent company Kraft Heinz, often marketed towards children for packed lunches. Because they are shelf-stable and do not require refrigeration until opened, they are a very common and popular item for food banks and giveaways. I found this on a bench outside of my school. It's made of some kind of metal and has the 10 Commandments on it, but I'm not sure what to call the coin itself. I find the location very ironic because I go to an alternative school. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a pocket piece or an evangelical token. These are inexpensive items created for Christian proselytizing, designed to be given away to spread a religious message. They are part of a larger category of items called religious tracts. A more controversial version of this practice involves pamphlets designed to look like folded paper currency. These are sometimes left for service workers in place of a monetary tip, a practice that has been widely criticized. I was about to eat a slice of arugula and mushroom pizza when I noticed this. It's a small cluster of individual dots, each with a raised edge forming a distinct hexagonal structure. We ended up throwing the slice away because we were concerned they might be eggs. Does anyone know what it is? What you found are, in fact, insect eggs. Specifically, they belong to the brown marmorated stink bug, an invasive species in many parts of the world. Female stink bugs lay their eggs in tight clusters of 20 to 30, typically on the underside of leaves. The distinctive hexagonal pattern is a result of the barrel-shaped eggs being packed closely together for protection. In this case, the eggs were likely laid on an arugula leaf, remained attached through harvesting and processing, and ended up on your pizza. I drive by these pipes in my parking garage all the time. The straight sections look normal, but then there are these fat, squiggly parts connecting them. I have no idea what their function is. Does anyone know what it is? What you're looking at are Victaulic fitting covers. The pipes themselves are part of an HVAC or fire sprinkler system and are covered with formed fiberglass insulation and an embossed metal jacket for protection and efficiency. The squiggly parts are specifically shaped to fit over the pipe couplings underneath. These couplings, known as Victaulic fittings, use a system of bolts and knuckles to clamp two pipes together. This mechanical joint is faster to install than welding. The unique, bulky shape of the cover is purely functional, designed to accommodate the large hardware of the fitting it protects. My in-laws included this in our Christmas gift this year. It's a piece of blue plastic, about 3 by 3 inches, and we have no idea what it's for. Does anyone know what it is? It's a pan scraper, a common kitchen tool. This design is famously sold by the company Pampered Chef. It's specifically engineered to remove baked-on food from pots and pans without scratching the surface. Each corner has a different curvature to match the various edges of bakeware, from casserole dishes to skillets. The plastic is hard enough to provide leverage against tough residue, but soft enough that it won't damage delicate non-stick coatings. What is this plastic object? It has a small, stiff brush on one end and a sharp, hooked blade on the other. It looks like it was made for a very specific task. Does anyone know what it is? This is a combination cleaning tool, commonly included with modern vacuum cleaners. Its purpose is to maintain the machine's primary components. The hooked blade is a fiber and hair cutter. It's designed to slide under threads and hair that have become tightly wrapped around the vacuum's rotating brush roll, cutting them free without damaging the bristles. The brush on the other end is used to clear dust from filters and to dislodge debris from the brush roll itself, ensuring the vacuum operates efficiently. I was at an art gallery and noticed this small white device on the wall near a painting. It was about 3 inches wide, with no screen or text on it, just a small blinking light. It didn't look like a security sensor. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a wireless environmental data logger. Art galleries and museums use these devices to precisely monitor and record temperature and humidity. Works of art, especially older paintings, manuscripts, and textiles, are extremely sensitive to environmental changes. The logger contains sensors that take readings at set intervals, storing the data or transmitting it wirelessly. Curators use this information to ensure the climate inside the gallery remains within a very narrow, stable range, preventing materials like canvas from warping, paint from cracking, and paper from degrading over time. There is smoke coming out of the damp soil in my yard. It has a strange smell, almost like phosphorus, and the earth around the hole is warm. I'm pretty certain there are no gas lines directly underneath this area. Does anyone know what it is? What you're witnessing is an underground electrical fire. This is a hazardous situation caused by a fault in a buried power line. When the cable's insulation is damaged, high-voltage electricity can arc directly into the surrounding earth. The immense heat from this arc vaporizes the moisture in the soil, creating the columns of steam that look like smoke. The phosphorus-like odor is typically caused by the burning of the cable's plastic sheathing and the superheating of various minerals in the ground. The original poster correctly called the fire department, who confirmed it was an electrical issue requiring specialists from the power company to resolve safely. I got these tiny balls clustered together with some plant pots. They look like seeds, but they're all perfectly uniform and have a strange, waxy coating. Does anyone know what it is? What you found is a common type of slow-release fertilizer. Each pellet is a small sphere containing nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, all encased in a semi-permeable polymer coating. This coating is designed to control the release rate. When you water the plant, moisture is absorbed through the coating, which slowly dissolves the solid fertilizer inside. The dissolved nutrients are then gradually released back into the soil over a period of several months, providing a steady and consistent food source for the plant. I just cut open this avocado and it's filled with dark, stringy lines. It looks bad. Can I just cut out the brown parts or should I throw the whole thing away? Does anyone know what it is? This is a common condition known as vascular browning. Those stringy fibers are the avocado's vascular bundles, which act like veins to move nutrients and water throughout the fruit as it grows. They become dark and more noticeable due to a few factors, most commonly chilling injury from being stored at temperatures that are too cold before ripening. It can also happen if the avocado is overripe or if it was harvested from a very young tree. While it may look unappealing, the fruit is still safe to eat. The texture of the browned fibers might be unpleasant, but the green parts are perfectly fine. I have a Tomy Aquadoodle learning mat, and each letter has a corresponding animal. For the letter U, there is this illustration of a bird that I can't identify. It doesn't look like an umbrella bird or a Ugandan crane. Does anyone know what it is? This bird is a urubú. The reason for the confusion is that the educational mat is likely using Spanish words for its animals, not English. Urubú is the Spanish and Portuguese name for the black vulture, a species found throughout the Americas. Another clue supports this theory. The mat uses the letter V for a snake, which corresponds to vibera, the Spanish word for viper. The manufacturer, Tomy, is a global company and likely produced a single version of the mat to be sold in multiple regions. What is this complex machine? It shows a person lying horizontally inside a large pod with their feet strapped to pedals. The user is cycling, but the rest of their body is fully enclosed. It looks like a piece of medical or science fiction equipment. Does anyone know what it is? This is a high-tech piece of fitness equipment called the InfraShape Horizontal V2. It's a recumbent exercise bike housed inside a capsule that integrates multiple technologies to intensify a workout. As the user pedals, a system of infrared lamps heats the body's tissues to increase metabolism and promote sweating. At the same time, the machine creates a vacuum environment inside the capsule. This negative pressure increases blood flow to the skin and fat tissue in the lower body, which is intended to accelerate fat burning and reduce cellulite during the cardiovascular exercise. This new antenna structure was spotted outside a college campus. It's a simple pole, much shorter than a typical cell tower, with a cylindrical canister at the top. It wasn't here last month. Does anyone know what it is? This is a small cell tower, a critical component of modern 4G and 5G networks. Unlike the large traditional macro towers designed for wide area coverage, small cells are built for capacity. In areas with a high density of users, like a college campus or a downtown core, the main network can become congested, leading to slow data speeds. These small cells act as low-power access points that handle heavy data traffic in a localized area, offloading the strain from the larger towers and ensuring a faster, more reliable connection for everyone nearby. I recently moved and found this behind a dresser. It's a flat, flexible pad with several small cells inside, and it's the same on both sides. A lighter is included for scale. I have no guesses as to what it could be. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as an air-activated heat wrap, specifically the Thermacare brand. These pads generate heat through a simple chemical reaction. Each cell contains a mixture of iron powder, charcoal, salt, and water, kept in a sealed, airtight pouch. When the pouch is opened, oxygen from the air permeates the wrap and reacts with the iron powder. This process is a form of rapid, controlled oxidation, or rusting, which is an exothermic reaction that releases steady heat. The Thermacare brand was developed by Procter & Gamble and first introduced in 2001 as a form of portable, drug-free pain relief, providing low-level heat for up to 8 hours. I'm trying to replace a latch on a door in a very old building, and I'm getting completely frustrated because I don't know its proper name. I've described it as a spring-loaded plunger with rollers at multiple hardware stores, and even shown them this exact photo, but no one seems to know what it is. It uses a roller with a strong spring behind it to hold the door shut against a dished plate. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a roller latch, sometimes called a roller catch. Unlike a standard latch bolt that requires a handle to operate, a roller latch works on spring tension alone. As the door closes, the rounded roller makes contact with a curved strike plate on the door frame. The roller is pushed back into its housing against the spring, and then snaps into the depression on the plate, holding the door securely closed. This design is common for doors that don't need to be locked, like closets, or the inactive door in a set of double doors, as it allows the door to be simply pushed open or pulled shut without a handle. The user's trouble finding a replacement is understandable, as these older, heavy-duty styles have often been replaced by more modern ball or magnetic catches. I'm in an NYC apartment and I keep hearing this popping noise inside a small divider wall. The wall has a light switch and a smoke alarm, and my refrigerator is on the other side. I was worried it might be an electrical issue. Does anyone know what it is? This sound is very likely caused by a phenomenon known as thermal expansion. Your refrigerator's compressor generates significant heat when it cycles on. This heat warms the air and materials inside the wall cavity, such as wood studs, plastic electrical boxes, or drywall. As these materials heat up, they expand. When the compressor cycles off, they cool and contract. This slight movement can cause materials to stick and then suddenly slip past each other, releasing energy as an audible pop or click. The user confirmed the switch was not hot to the touch, making an electrical fault less probable. It's a common and usually harmless occurrence in buildings. I was making breakfast with some eggs my friend gave me from the chickens she raises. When I cracked one open, I found this small, hard speck inside the white. The egg otherwise looks completely normal. Does anyone know what this is? And is it safe to eat? What you found is a harmless calcium deposit. A hen's body produces calcium carbonate to create the eggshell. Sometimes, a small excess piece of this calcium gets deposited inside the egg before the shell is fully formed around it. While they are more commonly seen as bumps on the outside of the shell, finding them inside is not unusual. You can simply remove the hard deposit. The rest of the egg is perfectly safe to eat. I came out to find my car covered in a substance that looked like baking soda. My first thought was a prank by some teenagers, but there wasn't a person in sight. My next theory was that a plane passed overhead and scared a flock of birds. Does anyone know what it is? This is, quite simply, a large quantity of bird droppings. Birds do not urinate in the same way mammals do. Instead, they excrete a combined substance where the white, pasty material is uric acid, the bird's equivalent of urine. The pattern of many small splatters is characteristic of a large flock, such as starlings or grackles, that may have been roosting in a tree directly above the vehicle. When the flock takes off all at once, either in the morning or if startled, they often defecate simultaneously, resulting in this widespread coating. I was staying in a Marriott hotel room and noticed this device mounted above the door on the inside. My main concern is that it looks like it could be a camera. Does anyone know what it is? This object is a motion and occupancy sensor. Crucially, it is not a camera and has no ability to record images or audio. It works by using a passive infrared sensor, or PIR, which detects the body heat of a person moving within the room. This device is a key part of the hotel's energy management system. When the sensor determines the room is vacant, it signals the thermostat to enter an energy-saving mode. When you return, it detects your presence and tells the system to resume your last set temperature, saving the hotel significant electricity costs. I found this stuck to the inside of a new embroidered shirt, but it came off in the dryer. It feels like a stiff, papery material. Was this supposed to stay in place, or is this a manufacturing error? Does anyone know what it is? This is a piece of embroidery stabilizer. During high-speed machine embroidery, the needle puts a lot of stress on the fabric, which can cause it to pucker, stretch, and bunch up, ruining the design. To prevent this, a stiff backing material, the stabilizer, is temporarily attached to the area being stitched. It provides a rigid foundation that keeps the fabric flat and stable. Some stabilizers are designed to be torn away or dissolve in water after production, while others are meant to be permanent. In this case, the heat and tumbling of the dryer likely just broke the adhesive bond. The embroidery itself is secure, and the shirt is perfectly fine without it. I saw this sticker on the fence of my house in Australia. Judging by the spider webs, it looks like it's been there for a long time, but I never really paid it much attention. Does anyone know what it is for and who might have put it there? This object is known as a retroreflective survey target. It's a reference point used by surveyors and civil engineers. The material is designed to reflect a laser beam directly back to its source with minimal scattering of light. An engineer uses an instrument called a total station, which sends out a laser to measure distances and angles with extreme precision. By affixing this sticker to a stable object, like a fence or wall, they create a fixed point they can use to accurately map property lines, monitor construction progress, or survey the topography of an area. I found this object, which looks and feels just like a remote control. It has a single large button, but when I pressed it, absolutely nothing happened. It doesn't seem to have an infrared port like a typical television remote. Does anyone know what it is? It's a remote switch designed for a specific line of products, the Belkin Conserve power strips. Introduced by the electronics company Belkin around 2009, the Conserve line was created to help users save electricity. This remote sends a wireless radio frequency signal to a corresponding power strip, which must be paired with it. Pressing the button cuts all power to the devices plugged into the strip, preventing what is known as vampire power, the small amount of energy electronics draw even when turned off. It was a simple way to completely disconnect an entertainment center or office setup with a single click. I bought these shoes on clearance about a year ago, but I've never actually worn them. I recently noticed this strange green mark on the bottom of the sole. I don't remember it being there when I bought them, but it might have been. Does anyone know what it is? What you're seeing is a common result of the manufacturing process. To reduce costs, many shoe soles are made using injection molding, where recycled plastic is used as an internal filler material. This core is then covered by an outer layer of new plastic. In your shoe, the recycled filler was likely misaligned within the mold. At the same time, the outer layer of new material was injected too thinly in that spot, allowing the green color of the internal filler to show through. It is a purely cosmetic defect, and a common reason why items like this are sold on clearance. My friend bought a set of earrings, and this strange metal spike came included in the set. It has one sharp end and another with a screw tip, but no other attachments. We weren't sure if it was just another type of piercing. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a threaded taper. It's a specialized tool designed to make inserting body jewelry easier and less painful. The mechanism is straightforward. The threaded end of the taper screws directly onto the post of the earring or other jewelry. The user then inserts the smooth, pointed end into their piercing. By gently pulling the taper all the way through, it smoothly guides the attached jewelry into the fistula, which is the channel of skin that forms the piercing. This is particularly useful for difficult-to-reach piercings or for jewelry that is tricky to insert on your own. What is this small metallic cube? It looks like it could be a lighter, but there's no visible flint wheel or button. Does anyone know what it is? This object is known as a vintage Royal Biob cube lighter, manufactured in Japan. These were popular novelty items from the 1950s through the 1970s. Its minimalist design hides a clever mechanism. To operate it, you pull the two halves of the cube apart. This action engages a spring-loaded arm that snaps up, spinning a flint wheel against the flint and opening the wick cap to create a flame, all in one motion. It's a classic example of post-war Japanese ingenuity in creating compact and mechanically interesting consumer goods. My wife brought this to me and asked what it was. I had a feeling it used to be important. It's a white plastic ribbon about 7 feet long, and a small plastic pin that seems to go with it. Does anyone know what it is? What you found are the accessories for an inflatable exercise or yoga ball. The small pin-like object is the air plug. After you inflate the ball, this plug is pushed firmly into the inflation hole to create an airtight seal, keeping the ball from deflating. The long plastic strap is a measuring tape used to ensure the ball is inflated to the correct diameter for safety and proper use. These two items are often lost, rendering the larger ball useless. I was looking at this old belt and noticed a second, smaller loop on it. It's not the primary belt loop, which is attached near the buckle, as this one slides freely. My first thought was that it was some kind of keyring. Does anyone know what it is? It's a belt keeper. This is a secondary movable loop designed specifically to manage the excess length of the belt strap. After you buckle the belt and pass the tip through the first fixed loop, you slide this keeper into the space between that loop and your first pants loop. This holds the belt tip flush against the main part of the belt, preventing it from sagging or flopping around. It's a simple but effective solution for a cleaner look, especially when the belt holes don't perfectly align with your pants loops. I was messing around with a laser pointer and a soda can and noticed something interesting. When I move the laser point in a small line across the surface of the can, the reflection on the table moves in a much wider arc. What exactly causes this amplification? Does anyone know what is happening? What you're observing is a classic demonstration of the law of reflection, but applied to a curved surface. The basic principle is that the angle at which light hits a surface, the angle of incidence, is equal to the angle at which it reflects off. On a flat mirror, this is simple and linear. But a soda can is a convex, or outwardly curved, surface. As your laser beam moves away from the center of the can, the surface it hits is tilted at a progressively steeper angle. This steep tilt dramatically changes the angle of incidence, which in turn forces the angle of reflection to become equally steep, sending the beam much farther away. This is why a tiny movement of your hand creates a large, sweeping arc on the table. Or, my cat came inside from the yard and her fur was covered in these odd-looking spiked objects. At first, I thought they were some kind of insect, as they resemble tiny slugs. They are very difficult to pull out of her fur. Does anyone know what it is? These are not insects, but the seeds from a plant, commonly known as beggar's ticks. This is a general name for plants in the genus Bidens. Their seed dispersal method is highly effective. Each seed is equipped with two prominent barbs that are covered in microscopic, backward-facing hooks. When an animal like a cat brushes past the plant, these hooks instantly latch onto its fur. The animal then carries the seed to a new location, where it can eventually fall off and germinate, allowing the plant to spread over a wide area. Which of these items surprised you the most? Or maybe you have one of them in your own garage? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed learning something new today, please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. Thanks for watching.